Hello, gang. Just sitting down today to do some critter studies. See if my audio is doing okay. Nice. I've been working so much lately on doing like finished paintings here on Sketching with Izzy. So it's going to be fun to kind of do something a little bit less refined. Can you hear me all right? Just want to check on the audio. Avid, hello. Gareth, how's it going, buddy? Did you just finish up? You must have had a long night, huh? How's the mic? Audio's good? Okay, great. I always worry it's not going to come out right. So yeah, I found this website called seventhsanctum.com generate, and it's just a creature generator. So I just went online and looked up creature generator, decided that I would try to dig. I just want to do random stuff, like random problem solving, rather than really try and do finished designs or paintings today. So this is just going to be like ideation phase concept art, which I haven't really gone over with you guys too much. I thought it'd be kind of fun. Finished a couple hours ago playing Cuphead. Oh my god, buddy. You got balls for days. I just watch people playing that, and it looks too hard for me. I don't got it in me. Turn down the volume a little bit. So I'm just going to scroll through some of these and do some little sketchies. And we'll hang out and chat. Oh god, the animation looks so good. Like that, it's a real love letter, you know, to old school animation and I think solid game theory. I've watched so many things on how the designers came up with what they intended for that game in terms of difficulty and look. It's so well art directed. I really love what they've done. I just gotta get over my fear of the endless struggle. I get so frustrated with the games nowadays. Like they're so hard, and I guess they're not. A lot of games are actually easier now technically. You know, they all have tutorials and shit. You don't have to read through a book for how to do the moves, how it was when I was a kid, but still, I just don't have the time anymore. Even the games I do play, I just suck at. I need a darker value. Let's get you out of the way. Oh no, I did not. I failed to switch over my monitor to be the proper size. So hold on one second as I try to remedy this without crashing. Fingers crossed. If I do crash, just come on right back, y'all. I'll restart it when it's back on. But I'm gonna do some NVIDIA. Resize this thing so you guys can see everything. My monitor, my primary monitor is one of those like super widescreen things with a curve, like real fancy pants shit. It's great when I'm working on it, but it doesn't show the proper resolution on the Twitch stream. So let me change resolution real quick. Don't crash, don't crash! Alright, can you see everything now? You should be able to see all my palettes and all that good stuff. Alright. Let's get to sketching some critters. This first one was entity mutated from other life forms. It loosely resembles a frog and it is hairless with violet skin. The creature has minute legs and feet. So, oh, thanks for hosting, Gareth. Appreciate it, my man. Yeah, so I already started on it. It's some kind. I was kind of thinking of a frog crossed with a tick. It's kind of the idea there. Minute legs and feet. I don't think I'm gonna get into color today. It's just gonna be little sketchies. So what I'm gonna try and do is generate some character ideas and her creature ideas and give them a little bit of character. So like little facial expressions and things like that. Hey, how you doing, Thug? It's good to see you on, bud. Do you guys get notifications when I come on? I'm curious. Like, is that something that happens automatically when you follow, or do I need to start asking folks to click the notifications bell? I'm so bad at that stuff. It's always talking about me. I'm the beauty in this little group. It's all lighting. It's all tricks of light, you see? What the shit? Whoa. Big noises just happened. Hey, we got a raid. Thanks, Cannon. Welcome all. Welcome. We are sketching critters today. I am doing some kind of weird little frog monster creature. So I hope you like weird little frog monster creatures. Sort of a fantasy thing, I guess. I really got to remember to turn off the speakers, or turn them down at least. Otherwise things explode. Look at them emojis. I love it. Awesome. Frauds. That noise startled me. Now I don't know what I was doing anymore. Got so startled. Let's move that leg back. Maybe, oops. Make it a little bit bigger. It's kind of the same size as the face. I don't want to do that. Another set of legs. It's a little leaper. And then give him some little bulldog forearms. Speed is the idea here, so we're just gonna whip out some. Yar! Grab me doubloons. I have mad respect for my fellow pirates. And then I wanted him to kind of be dragging like a weird, big, floppy, tick-like body. We're not gonna dig too much into rendering, but I did want to kind of give each critter that I'm gonna sketch tonight like a little bit of lighting and kind of a rudimentary, line work, just so that we can see what's going on, Ah-ya. Double leg leaper guy. Aw, you guys took my doubloons. This is very rude. You guys are some rude pirates. Oh no, Thug has redeemed Name a Layer. Layer group above the background. Davy Jones Hurt Locker. You're gonna really love what's in there, because it's gonna totally match that. Named layer. Oop. Alright, quick new layer. We're gonna do just some rudimentary lighting. I don't know what it is about beady eyes. They just get me, you know? I can relate to beady eyes for some reason. Maybe it's because my dog has beady eyes. He's a grumpy frog creature. So grumpy. Maybe kind of indicate like a sort of proto-gill system, something like that. Thanks for the follow, Taka. Or Tak. Tak and the power of Juju. My bad. Appreciate that. All follows welcome. Be sure to hit that notification button so you can see when I pop on for more sketchy goodness, painting, in general riff-raffery. I think let's hint at kind of a sort of a body structure there, some kind of change in shape. And then when I'm doing kind of sketches like this, I want to make sure to clean up my lines where I can so that they're not confusing. And instead of erasing them, I like just blending them back because, you know, it's free texture. Why not? Why not have a little free thing in your life? Just make your life a little easier. Of course, all of these feats is not figured out so good. But we have the solution, my friends. We're gonna group these. Make a new layer. Oops, make a new layer inside. Come back, Froggy. Don't forget to make this a smart object. No, I will not be doing that. I have no concern for these. These are just little sketchy sketchies. My Photoshop doesn't work like yours. Ken, what's wrong with your Photoshop, brother? Ah, Thug, thanks for the sub gift, my friend. That's mighty sweet of you. So this comes from my dynamic sketching days. We would do things like layout, do quick layouts like this, and it was always on toned paper. I love to draw on toned Canson paper because then we can hit it with little highlights. I would use a colored pencil and a gel pen. Those are my favorite things, a white gel pen. And they can give you really quick lighting information and material information for very minimal effort. It's a great way to show clients your ideas. I love dynamic sketching. It's a really awesome system. That's my cute little hippo guy. You like that? I gotta work on my emojis. I need some funny ones. Mine are all weird. I have a couple of really scary looking ones and just weird ones. But yeah, as soon as I unlock some more, I guess you have to have a certain amount of followers before you can get more. I only have 3 right now. So I'm stuck with the first ones I put in there. Let's see, kind of select here. He's kind of a happy guy. He's a little happy. A little bit worried. How's he gonna get his score on the SATs? Were you harassing Gareth on his stream this afternoon? What did you do to Gareth this Avo? Were you still playing Cuphead, Gareth? I saw you come on, but I was working on some new Magic cards that I really had to finish. I'm a little bit behind on. I finished the primary sketches, but I still got some work to do on some other stuff. So I decided to opt out of joining in conversations online. Hopefully it was a good stream. The Inflicted. Nice. Is it that scream that like makes him jump? Is it that kind, or is it actually he has to scream? There's nothing quite like Scottish expletives of surprise. I must say, it is entirely unique. I can absolutely see how it's been monetized. It makes total sense to me. Deshaun. Gracias for the follow. Thank you. Biggest scare of all time tonight? Seriously? Did you scream? Oh my god. Oh, y'all definitely need to give Gareth a follow. His show is great. I've definitely enjoyed it, but I don't know how you play those horror games, man. I've played a few, and I just whenever I play a horror game, I just run. So my little avatar character just runs straight through. I'm screaming. I can totally handle scary movies. Like, I'm stone-faced. It's very rare a scary movie will get me, but the games, oh. I have never screamed so much. I've never played, like, my favorite ones were the Silent Hill games that one of my exes got me into. She used to play. And the two of us would just sit there with, like, you know, a couple of cocktails and try to play the game. And all it ever consisted of was just running past monsters and screaming the whole way. I did not get the experience that was intended at all. I don't know how you can do it. It scares the piss out of me. Maybe he's got like a little gullet that we can kind of see. Let's give him a little speculars in the eyes. Hey guys. Hey guys, what you doing? Can I play too? Yeah. Alright, let's grab him. Oop. What's the next one? Let's see. This monster is a creation of clerics. It looks like an elegant merger of a spider and a sawfish. It seems to be made of liquid that somehow holds a form. A sawfish spider. That's an interesting combination. Let's see what we can do with that. Come on now. Permanent. Ha. That's for Thug, whose anal retentiveness I just abused horribly. Take that as you will. And my shoutouts aren't set up on my channel. I don't even know. I didn't even know that was a thing you could do. What? So like when I actually say a word, it will automatically link stuff, or how does that work? Is this Moist Creature Week? I guess so. I mean, so far, all of the creatures that have been coming up are pretty moist. So, well, the ones that I've picked. Also, moist creatures tend to lend themselves really well to this kind of sketching. Since we're just kind of going real loose. You can get away with a lot with a few speculars, you know? It's kind of cheating, but whatever. I generally just color pick within what I've established. That way I don't break out of values too much. So this is a sawtooth mixed with a tarantula. Let's see. tarantulas kind of have like a... So they have a thorax and an abdomen. They don't have they don't have 3 segments. That's insects, right? Sometimes it's easier, I think, to draw these things in kind of a bit more profile. It gives you a little bit of wiggle room. But with features like this bill, in order for me to show off this bill, I kind of have to transform the head a little bit so that we see it at a little bit more of a broad angle. I'm using a really soft charcoal style brush for my sketchy bits, and then it's all about line work after that. Thanks. Oh, did you resub again? That's a bit weird. Thanks, bud. Or did it just acknowledge it? I don't know what's going on in my Streamlabs. It might be having a little bit of a hiccup. Sort of like an eye blossom here. Maybe the saw bill is a little bit more straight instead of less. I'm afraid it's looking too ducky. You know what I mean? A little too duck-billed. And then little saw bits. Yeah. Okay, and we need little pedipalps. Oh, okay. Is it that bot thing? Because I disabled almost all of the bot's stuff because it was blocking everybody from doing things. But yeah, my bad. Yeah. I don't know. He's not very tarantula-like. We got to do something about that. This is unacceptable. No es aceptable para mí. All right. The great thing with the lasso tool when you're doing little scribbly bits like this is you can just poop stuff. It's not about pretty yet, because again, we're just using this kind of garbagey little brush. I like that it has texture. It just gives you implicit texture, and then it goes really well with a smudge. It looks kind of like a weevil to me. It looks like a tarantula. And I think that's due to the saw bill. Maybe we need to come up with a different way for the saw bill to work. Maybe it comes out of the top of the head. No, then it would look like a rhino beetle or something. This looks like he's wearing a little sweater. It's got a cute little sweater. Little spinnerets. Boop. We're calling those spinnerets for now. That way, you know, the Twitch mods won't come after us. All right, it's loose. It's good enough. Let's see what we can do with it. I'm gonna shrink it down. Make a new layer. Use Nightbot. Ooh. That totally doesn't sound like a serial killer. I love it. I will have to give it a shot. I have a lot to learn. What's good and bad about me is I get kind of... I'm very in the present, so whatever I'm doing, I'm kind of into, and then when it's gone, it's gone. So while I'm on the stream, you guys have my undivided attention. When I'm off the stream, I don't even think about the stream. Which I guess is kind of bad. So I always forget to... like, it took me how many sessions for me to finally turn off the damn bot? Jeez, like a dozen, I think. I kind of want to make this body flat, like a blood cell. You know, spread it out a little bit. So the liner can be loose too, as long as I'm thinking structure still. This creature was designed by alchemists, according to our creature generator. So one of the ways we can maybe imply that this was designed with purpose is to kind of give it a reason, like, and since they're alchemists, maybe there's some kind of medical reason for this thing, like it's used for drawing blood or anesthetizing, something like that, you know, like giving it a little story. Sana, welcome. Hi. I'm using the same rhythm that I have up there in the abdomen for this sort of blossom of eyes. Of course, he's got to have little fuzzies, little hair bits. He's not just the owner, he's a client. More beady eyes, because beady eyes are cute. So cute, you beady eye guy. That's not supposed to be an eye. What am I working on? I am just doing some critter sketches today. I gotta worry about these connections because this critter is looking a little too suggestive for my channel here. Gotta work on this. I definitely need to get rid of this foreskin aspect. Oh yeah. No, I'm gonna be canceled any day, guys. Enjoy it while you can. Nothing makes you not think of foreskin like pointy stuff. That's how we fight the foreskin. Does this critter have a chainsaw in its mouth? Almost. So what we've got is we are looking at a creature generator on a website called seventhsanctum.com/generate. And I believe it is for generating creatures for a game or something, like maybe D&D. And I'm just using it as a creature idea generator to quickly come up with ideas for us to design as a group. So this creature is a mix of a spider and a sawfish. So instead of it's very much like a chainsaw, the Sawfish Bill, and it's used very similarly to like a hedge trimmer. These fish hunt other fish. They come up real fast behind them, and then they whap them with their saw bill. And they chop them up. It's horrifying to watch, really. Make this even more pillowy, I think. I don't know. I don't like any of this. None of this is working back here. It all looks dumb. So what I'm going to do, these are actually leg bits that I drew back here, but I feel like they're kind of matching that head rhythm that I've got of spines. So I'm going to see if I can do that with the body. Yeah, we're doing some critter designs today. Welcome, Pi. Let's grab these, transform. Whoop. You cannot draw on multiple layers at the same time, according to Photoshop, who is a rude bastard that won't let me do what I want to do and wants to just sit on my dreams and squash them. And I think that's very rude. You. To be honest, the Sawbill in nature, although terrifying and weird, is also still silly as hell. So there's not really any way we can make this not silly looking. So I like to lean into silly. I think that it can give you a little hint of iconic. I find it's a good idea to draw one good leg. I was on watching a streamer briefly this morning while I was making breakfast, and she was using Sai for her drawing program, and the line work that program can do is kind of amazing. Like, it's really clean looking. And I was thinking about this brush that I use, which is so messy and not clean at all. Because it looked like it, but didn't have all the scritchy scribbles that mine usually do. Here we're going to do a puppet warp, which I always enjoy. I think it's image. No, it's edit, puppet warp. You guys are going to like this. No, you won't. It's not going to hold together. That's too bad. I thought that it might actually allow me to warp the lines, but they're going to... It does connected pixels. It's better when it's a full full shape that's filled, rather. Too bad. It's super effective on a painting. Bloop, bloop, bloop. I want to get rid of you, and we're going to put a chainsaw foot. No, I'm kidding. Although, now I'm fixated with chainsaws. Of course, we could just draw this out, but my ruling stars in astrology are laziness. So, yeah. That's what we're going to do, is we're going to be lazy today. We're just trying to get ideas down. We're not trying to... Ain't trying to impress nobody. God damn. When we do our fill and a little bit of lighting, it covers up a lot of these crimes of sort of unanswered questions, which is okay, because this is just ideation phase. Liggins, welcome. It's a silly bug. All right, let's make a new layer. Let's do a quick fill. I like to get rid of the lines that didn't help me. But first, let's darken some of these up a little bit. Make a new layer. I like the idea of kind of the chitinous. Is it chitinous or chitinous? 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 Who the hell knows? English is dumb. The shell, the carapace. I like those bugs where there's like really different colors and values, like the really dangerous looking ones. We'll see if we can mimic that here. And also some quick implied lighting. I'm doing pretty good. A little bit tired, but overall doing pretty good. It's been a long day. I've been painting all day basically, doing magic card stuff and just trying to get caught up on some things before some big assignment things come down the pipe. I had one piece that was really, it was a slog. I've just decided that it was done, you know? Sometimes you get ones like that where like, as try as you might, it's just not coming together. It just doesn't look good. With those ones, you just got to get it as far as you can get it and then let it go. Because when it comes to this sort of thing, it's all about finish, not perfect, right? The problem with magic cards is, even though you're done, it's out of sight, you don't need to think about it anymore, you're super happy, move on to the next thing, it'll show up again in a year, like regurgitated spaghetti, which totally shows up in a year, by the way. But yeah, it sucks because it does come back, but it's all right. By that time, you've already moved on with your life, and you've got new things that you hate, so you can kind of let it go. I'm a bit out of practice with doing this kind of style too, so this is good because everything's really, really rough that I'm doing. Like, I used to be able to do this really cleanly, and right now I've been doing so much finish rendering that hides this stuff that I'm just really out of practice with my rough sketching and VisCom skills. Oops. You definitely develop expertise in the stuff that you do all the time, right? Okay, real quick, let's do some little specular guys. Do I ever get nervous sending in the final and thinking they might refuse it? No. I mean, That's happened to me plenty of times. I've had lots of finished work rejected where they say, oh, this is cool, but this isn't working, or this needs to be fixed. You just got to get used to that kind of critique. The hard part is when that, and this has happened to me also, but the real hard part is when that happens while you're already moving on to the next thing for another client. And so you got to kind of, you get bottlenecked at that point. I find it's the best way to treat that is to let the new client, if you can avoid it, don't tell anybody that you're bottlenecked. But if you have to, tell the new client that something's come up, you need an extra day, and then seriously spend an entire day getting all those fixes done and turn in the previous piece so it's out of the way. If you let shit backlog up because it wasn't approved, you are going to be hurting so bad later. So I like to handle that stuff immediately. Never let it get stacked. So don't be nervous. Get it in. The best way to deal with this is when you're planning out your jobs with clients is to plan a period of time for responses like that if they refuse to accept it. So what I like is at least a couple of days for them to review. Of course, if they have big changes and those changes are they fundamentally change something that they've already approved, you need to get paid for that. So one of the things that you can do is if they come back and say, hey, actually we want a completely different character in this shot, you got to say, hey, that's something else. I'm gonna need to get some recompense for that, and see how quick they change their minds. Either they'll be like, okay, totally understood, here's your cash, or they'll be like, oh no, it's okay, it's fine, we'll make it work. They get real amenable when their wallet's on the line. You still see a temp cover for a game you did 18 years ago come up in Google search and it haunts you? Buddy, I hear you. That happens to me all the time. And I mean, people come up, one of the most popular cards I've ever done is one of my least favorite cards. And I still have to sign it. And I hate it. I hate the painting from the deepest core of my being. But such is life. At least you don't have to sign that game anymore, right, Thug? You've been working on something to send to Game Studio by your house. You're applying for your first ever art job. Hey, good luck. That's awesome. I hope you get it. Just, like Thug says, don't forget to follow up. You may have to hassle. I think you were here when I was talking about doing mail outs, but it's a good idea to do your initial touching base, send things out, and then if you don't hear anything in a week, drop a line, hey, how's it going? Just wanted to check on, and then give it a couple of weeks after that. And then start sending new art maybe once a month. Yeah, you can do it. All right, real quick, let us do these speculas. Let us speculate. Yeah, I know it's not the right verb. Grammar Nazis. It's just funny. So because this is more carapace rather than the more matte material that I was using above, I need to have sharper speculars. And because it's a sketch, I'm not looking to get like a finished render. I just want to get the main ideas in, accentuate the stuff that I would want my the art director to see. And then move on to the next one. You cannot sit here in painting land the whole time when you're just doing really rough, crappy sketches. This is called ideation for a reason. Let it just be an idea rather than a finish. The best way I've found for this kind of thing is to get enough in there that if you're not there to present this idea rather to whoever it is that's going to be making the decisions, there's enough there that they could figure it out on their own and extrapolate. but I much prefer to actually present ideas, because then, again, you can hide crimes. You can be like, ignore this part over here, don't look at that, but this is the general idea, these are the things I'm referencing, and it's pretty great way to share your ideas. Also, I have a friend, she's an Imagineer. She does art directing for Disney's new rides and things like that. So the new Incredicoaster she designed, which is the replacement for the old loop-de-loop roller coaster they had in California Adventure. And one of the things that she taught me over the years was, when she would come up with ideas to show to the suits, the money men that make the decisions, she discovered that the more fancy the painting would be, the more expensive they would assume something is. And then they would not approve your idea. And she learned that, over time, sometimes it's better to show things in a rougher, with a rougher look, not as much of a clean finish, so that it doesn't look super expensive yet. And that's just to sell the idea. It's an interesting dichotomy of having to work with the suits. If you're very lucky, as I have been in a couple of occasions, I've had art directors and the decision makers that are artists also, or at least speak our language, and it's such a pleasure to work with those folks. Spent 3 hours this morning collecting emails. Awesome. That's the hustle that we like to see in here. Reviewing candidates is a lot of work. That's true. Actually, yeah, I think Thug and I have both, on the same projects, looked at candidates for hire, and yeah, it's intensive. So be patient with the people that are going to be making those decisions. Understand that that's not generally part of the job. Well, it is, but they don't. Your higher up mucky mucks don't assign you time really to do that. So things take time. You're trying a career change in your 30s? Don't worry. Now's the time. There's no time like the present. Chemist to artist. That is a switch, but I know another chemist that became a concept artist at the same studio I used to work with Thug at. He's a concept artist. He worked on God of War Ascension with us. And he may have had his doctorate, I want to say, in chemistry or biochemistry. I know they're not the same thing, but I remember we had a long discussion about why he doesn't eat cup of noodles out of the cup. I still do, because I'm not a chemist. That trick works with concepts too. If you want a wild idea to get approved, you make a wilder idea and a boring idea, so the one you want to get approval looks like the sensible one. Yes, that is true, but that comes with a caveat, in that on occasion you have to expect that you're going to end up doing the shitty one. And that has happened to me on a few occasions where I really thought that they would go for the one, that I wanted to guide them towards. And they ended up, oh no, I really like this one. And you're like, oh no. Now I'm painting poops. I'm stuck with poops, and I own it. So the caveat for that would be, for me, design the one you want, and then design one that's over the top. And then the one that you don't want, make sure it's still something you can find some joy in working on. Don't completely shit the bed with that one, because it may bite you in the ass. Okay, we really don't need to do any more on this one. I'm talking too much, which is letting me noodle needlessly. It's just an idea. It's cool. It's good enough. Oops. That's what we wanted. Next. This mysterious monster is summoned by exorcists as a spy. It looks like an ant bent into the form of an iguana. What? I don't know. We might have to pass on that one. Ant guana? I feel like we kind of covered an insect thing already. Let's hold on that one. You got to know why not to eat out of the cup that comes with your cup of noodles. I believe the thing you want to look up is BPAs. It's something that plastics release when they get hot, and it can like mess with your brain chemistry and all sorts of stuff. So when you get bottles that say like BPA free and things like that, you want to lean towards that, because if there's temperature changes, even if it's like water bottles that are kept in trucks and the water bottles get warm from the sun inside the truck, that can cause these chemicals to release. Let's ask Liggins, because I really don't know the chemistry behind it. I just remember him telling me about this because it was so crazy. He would take the top off and then he would kind of like tear the styrofoam away from the noodles. So it was just like the cup-shaped noodles, and then put them in a bowl. And I was like, that is the weirdest thing. And he's like, oh, dude, you should never eat this stuff. Never, ever heat styrofoam and eat out of it. And I was like, oh, my God. So, yeah, maybe Liggins can give us an essay on that one before you move on to the next industry. I can tell you this, that the stuff that you've learned from your previous industries and any other hobbies you may have will always be useful. So never think that stuff was a waste of time or anything like that when you switch your career, because those things will come in handy. That knowledge is always useful when you're doing art and concept art in particular. Never show a filler idea. That's right. No, that's a good point. That it becomes the average of the other ideas, and the client will be more likely to pick it. Yeah. You know, I don't know if BPAs are connected to the smell of the plastic. I just remember that he said that like they can do things like alter RNA or something like that, and it's a major source or cause of cancer. And he had it all. I mean, he knew what he was talking about, and it sounded scary as hell. So for a while, I did it too, but then the laziness kicked back in, and now tumors. Let us grab our little charcoaly brush. Crunchy ramen. I used to do that from the top ramen bags, the little square bags. We would just take out the package and then just pour the sprinkles on top and just eat it like a sandwich. Ain't got no time for a stove. What are you talking about? Let's try the iguana. Let's see. Maybe we can come at it from a different angle. An iguana mixed with an ant that is a spy. Summoned by exorcists. So maybe an undead or something like. Well, exorcist actually, it doesn't make sense. An exorcist gets rid of demons, right? Let's do this in verse. Let's go light. No, that's chameleons that have those little horns, huh? An ant guana. Maybe it's segmented. You know, more than a thorax, a body and a head, or abdomen and a head. Maybe it's like almost like a worm. I think that's probably good enough to start. Let's go ahead and grab a liner and see what we can make with the liner. This is good because I'm starting to feel a little bit more warmed up. This is why it's a good idea to kind of do a bunch of these, is your hand will kind of loosen up, your brain's going to loosen up. It's always a good idea to spend some time warming up now and then, especially with design, because you can get your idea muscles, if you will, can also get kind of stiff and brittle, if you will. All right, let's grab a liner. Let's do something different. How about this one? Let's see how that looks. I don't know if I want to keep working in white. Let's try dark again. You can't really essay on BPA more than I did. It's a hazardous compound in some plastics. Okay. So does the frog eat the bug or the bug eat the frog? I'm drawing an ecosystem? No, I'm just drawing with random, what's the word I'm looking for? Random cues from a fantasy site. So there's not any connection directly between these things. But the cool thing is we can write a story if we want to. So if you got some stuff, we can follow that through and make that affect the next design. You just got your bachelor's and immediately got into specialized analytical chemistry position. Wow, that's really cool. So you're basically taking apart compounds and figuring out what goes into them instead of combining them. You're like a reverse Walter White. That's pretty awesome. Christy, thank you for the follow. Please be sure to hit that notification bell there so you know when I'm on next. And check out the schedule below in the About section. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm trying to think of ways. So it's easy to just fixate when you're doing a design that's kind of a little bit random like this. It's easy to fixate on a single aspect of the design, but I find it's a good idea to think about all of the possible prompts or cues that you've been given and see how you might draw them into the greater idea. So this was the, where'd it go? It disappeared on me. A mysterious monster is summoned. Oh, it's summoned by exorcists as a spy. It looks like an ant bent into the form of an iguana. So this is something otherworldly, like we could do kind of a cosmic horror with this. It's a spy. Maybe it has no mouth at all. Maybe the auditory meatus is particularly large. It can hear very well. Maybe it's got, those little folds in its feet, like geckos do, that allow it to hold on to any surface. I like how a lot of iguanas have these really wrinkly, like they have excess skin, which is kind of unusual for reptiles if you think about it. To be dry and have this excess skin that wrinkles up so cool, like, and then you can kind of see the rib cage. And I always like this kind of lateral line that they have. It's like a little, let's give him a little belly. Got a little tubby belly guy. Look at that. Where is this suggestion coming from? Yeah, you did miss it. I have a website here. It's the seventhsanctum.com/generate, and it's a legendary creature generator. I'll do this for whenever I do sketches like this. I'll look for sites that might be random idea generators, and just try to answer the questions. It's good. It's like little push-ups for your creative brain. As a concept artist, I find it really useful because you kind of have to think. When you have an assignment with parameters, you have to start problem solving. It's more than just making something cool. It has to specifically serve a purpose. And it's very easy when you don't have, the taskmaster to get to just start making everything about looking cool. And I think cool, while important, is going to be one of those things that can really trip up concept artists. Narrative and problem solving are my primary interests as a concept artist. This rhythm right here is giving it a real rat-like feel for me, and also something about this schnoz. So I'm gonna blunt that, and I want the ear bits, but I don't want them to feel so rat-like. So now that made it worse. Well, it's okay, it's a lizard rat. I give up. Maybe it's got plates. That's the segmented part that makes it look like a rat. Robots will do this kind of stuff someday. Yeah, I mean, they already have that thing where they have AI where they'll feed a whole bunch of Tarantino scripts through the AI, and then they'll have the AI write a Tarantino script. So it's got the style, but none of the substance. So I think, yeah, the robots will probably have this, but you're still gonna need something. You're gonna need somebody in the middle that helps with the context and subtext for whatever those things that are made by AI. Could have a catfish antenna. That's a good idea. Oh, you think maybe make it like a blind? I always like those antenna on lobsters where it kind of bends back. Of course, doing this kind of concept art stuff with creatures, having a rudimentary knowledge of a variety of anatomies is going to really help you out. So before you even get into doing this kind of study, I know we just jumped into this, and sometimes it's kind of frustrating to just see different pros just start showing off with the cool stuff. But what I would do traditionally, if I did have a real assignment, I would come up with ideas for whatever it is, the different influences for whatever it is I'm trying to make. I might do this phase early, this quick sketch phase, and then I'd go online and start searching for things like lobsters and rats and iguanas, and look for different images that are laterally related to those things and are in some way inspiring for me, and I would use those as my reference then. So then I would study from those different disparate elements and then bring all of those back together with my more finished sketches and designs, so that I'm as informed as I can possibly be about the local anatomy for that thing. But for this stage, I mean, just for study like this, having just a good grasp on a lot of different kinds of anatomy can really help save time. All right, let's grab this, transform it down. I'm going to ease up that light layer just a touch. Let's go ahead and make a new layer. Yep. And yet again, just do some darks. Oh, for upscaling, they do the fill. Yeah, unfortunately, Photoshop doesn't do that upscaling thing very well yet, or at least this version of it doesn't. It just pixel fills. So let's see. I have an ant and an iguana to start. So maybe for this one, we'll do the opposite. We will do darks, kind of like we did with a critter a couple of sessions ago, where we do the darks on the top and the lights on the bottom. Maybe that's what we need to do with this to get the ant element, because we really didn't answer much for ant. I can tell you this: if you have a client, specifically if you're working in-house with an art director, and they ask for something specific, even if you don't like that thing, you got to include it. So if they ask for an ant, an iguana that's inspired by an ant, you got to find some way to get that in there, because if there's somebody above you that you're working for and they have a specific vision and they give you something specific, you must include it, because it will be the first thing they notice is missing. Every time, without fail, that's the case. Oops. All right, real quick. Oh, let's do. I always try to ground my quick sketches with some kind of contact shadow. I find it helps with scale. It helps with kind of just implying a little bit of reality. To give it even a rudimentary lighting situation is very, very beneficial. Let's grab a light. We're going for an ant. I know we just did a carapace, a chitinous creature, but sometimes that happens. Eesh. The current Creative Suite Photoshop 21. Is it really Photoshop 21 now? Does a good job? I haven't tried it. I'm still using CS6 because I do not want to bother with subscription services for my my day job. The idea of having to log into a subscription service just to do my day job really bothers the shit out of me. I don't know why. Honestly, it's not that logical anymore. I mean, everything else I do is subscription based, but I do not dig it. Maybe there's sort of a little full-on punk rock counterculture, anti-corporatist element to that as well. I recognize that lean in myself. Like, if companies really like this system very much, then it must be bad for us. You know what I mean? It's probably not a healthy perspective, now that I think about it. Look up the Thundercats 8K upscale. Really? Huh. You have to activate. Well, I don't know about just authorizing the machine. Doesn't it have to check in? Doesn't it need to be online? So if I wanted to work offline, doesn't that create problems? All right, that's probably good enough for this sketch. Let's get it out of the way. Let's group it. Transform. Now, when I'm doing these, normally I would try to do a better job of really delineating things, like creating really nice dark darks. With this one, I'm not. Like, I would go in, this just to give you kind of a quick example, I would go in, just like I did these highlights, I would go in with some darks on most designs and just find accent values in places where I want to really overlap something, you know? But we ain't got time for that. We got other stuff to do. We got to design a mythical entity mutated from mankind sometime in the past. An owl sculpted into the form of a spider. These are all starting to sound the same, so I'm going to refresh that page real quick. Let's see what kind of goodies come with that. Whoa. This being comes from the future. It looks like a cockroach warped into the form of an octopus. It has no tentacles. I'm struggling with that one. What is an octopus without tentacles? I guess, isn't it just basically a handbag? I mean, ew. You can work offline, you don't need an internet. Oh, okay. An internet. $2 Starbucks a month to manage Photoshop. I suppose that's true. But if you consider how long you use Photoshop, I mean, it's still cheaper to just buy it outright for the years. You need them to see the internet every 99 days. That's still too much. I don't want it touching the internet at all. I don't want random updates. I don't want surprises. I don't like instability. These are all major issues. Yeah, it's a blob of goo. Make an octopus without a tentacle. Yes, sir. I'm on it, sir. Here we go. Boom. Eyeball. Done. Field goal. Crowd goes wild. We're winners as concept artists. No, seriously, actually now I really want to make an octopus with no tentacles, so we're going to do that. That's going to happen. So dumb. So what would it be? It would be kind of like a proto-sperm or something. It's got his little jets. And then maybe it would be funny if it had like little tentacle nubs. What is happening? It's like an aorta. Ew. I am from the future. I am Nub. What are you? shouldn't even exist. I don't know why this is happening. Why did I do this to myself? Come on. Alright. I'm really committed to this now. It's no longer a gag. I'm actually designing an octopus with no tentacles. Don't forget the beak. We can't see the beak. The beak is nestled in its crown of tentacles. If it has no tentacles, it's got no beak. I'm kidding. It probably still has a beak. Photoshop 21 is pretty good. Is it seriously 21? Are you messing with me? The updates are stable. Is it... I just assumed that every time they make a new Photoshop, it becomes triple bloated. So 21 has got to be, 500 times bigger than CS6 is. I refuse to change. They will have to bury me with my copy of CS6. Now, it's funny I say that because I actually really like new apps that are designed from the ground up. Like, I love Procreate. I think it's a fantastic app for what it does. It's so cool. They've really designed it with artists like us in mind, It's got a big, goofy eye. Hey, guys. Hey. Let's go get a Foster's Freeze. Let's make a new layer. Yeah, it's basically just a heart. It's true. I haven't drawn an octopus in a really long time. We're doing on time. Let's shrink it. What if we turned it up like this? It needs to make some inky, I think. Wait, what was it mixed with again? A cockroach. Oh my god. A cockroach and a octopus with no tentacles. It's going like this. It's going. That's the noise it makes. Don't leave us. Oh my god. What would you call it? You can't call it an octopus anymore. A nopus. What if all of those things like shot little clouds of inkies? No, we won't do that. No. We're good. All instead, they'll all shoot to one cloud. You see a heart too, Cypher? Well, it's an octopus without tentacles. What are we supposed to do there? Come on. I mean, if you think about it, that is basically just a heart, isn't it? It's a paper bag or a plastic bag. Just floating around in the ocean, unable to move, filled with sadness. Broken. All right, let's leave that one alone. I don't think that's really going to go anywhere better. It is funny. Oops. He's zooming away out of frame. All right, let's see what's next. Oh my goodness, this one's dark. This creature is formed by the soul of a person whose dying emotion was one of pessimism. It resembles a hammerhead shark and it has semi-transparent coffee-colored skin. This creature has 9 tails. It seems to warp and distort space wherever it is. What? Who hurt you? How do we illustrate pessimism? Oh my god. This is getting weird, guys. I'm getting a little uncomfortable here. I'll be straight with you. This is getting odd. Kind of freaking me out. I'm having an existential crisis on camera because of these monsters. It's just randomly angry. All right. Let's see. It would be So hammerhead. Dying emotion was one of pessimism. Hammerhead soul. Okay, let's start there. Hammerhead soul with 9 tails. This is interesting because the last thing was basically an octopus with no tentacles, and this is going to be a hammerhead with a bunch of tentacles because it's got 9 tails, was it? Yeah. Maybe it's got a little bit more beef to it. Let's give it a little more. Hammy, you saw the announcement with the Xbox, right? Xbox buying up Bethesda. I was wondering what you thought about that. I saw that and I was like, and a sense of doom befell me. But I don't know, maybe it's a good move. It's hard to know. It's not like Bethesda's been doing super hot outside of, a couple of products anymore. They've been having some issues. Liggins, thanks for hanging out. Sorry if I missed you. It's you when you die, Cypher. You're going to be a hammerhead with tentacle tails. The embodiment of pessimism. Fair enough. You see, I changed my naming convention. I had to. It was too big. So now it's Squizzy, I think, which is kind of funny if you think about it. So now I'm hoping that it will just slowly catch on, and then I could just say, "Hey, welcome to Squizzy," and I don't have to do the whole thing anymore. Squizzy's a good word. I mean, we can make it a verb, right? Like, come on, let's squiz. Nope, I immediately regret that. Nope, it's not going to work for me. Am I really an artist if I don't change naming conventions every few months? I agree with you. Probably not. Hi, Vatra. Welcome. It is cute. We're doing some cute, weird stuff. I think that, they could basically do anything they want with that IP as well. So I'm curious, things could get real interesting in the coming years. And I do feel like in some ways Bethesda's kind of gone the Valve route where they're not releasing as much stuff. Like they get fixated on a couple of things, and then they have all these other incredible projects that need a little love. That need refreshment, and have been ignored. So I don't know. It could be good. It could be good. But I was definitely shocked at first. I feel like if a hammerhead has a wrinkly hammer, that maybe shows pessimism somehow, right? What do you think? If its hammerhead feels like a couple of toes, does that mean it's pessimistic? Oh, we have fun here on Squizzy. I'm making it a thing. You fight me. Fight me. It's gonna happen. I don't know. Squizzing has it's got potential. It's got potential. I see some value there. Welcome to the Squiz. You're uploading gigabytes of data, so your stream is a little stop-start. Oh, no worries. Does he look sad, this guy? Aw, don't be sad, little guy. We'll give you little pets. Aw. Little pets for Frogling. He's our friend. We'll take care of him. We're not going to leave him to Squiz. What would you guys name the frog? Eesh. I don't like the mustache. I don't think mustaches are very pessimistic myself. I don't know why. I think people with mustaches are very trustworthy, and you should absolutely climb into their van and eat the candy they offer you. I think that's just a reasonable thing to do. Okay? I gotta lock down that definition. I'm gonna own it. I'm owning Squizzy. We'll figure it out. I'm just gonna try it out on a bunch of different stuff, and then eventually it'll stick. You see? The burliest of chops. Yeah, I guess that's true. There is an element of nihilism for some chops to happen. Just, altogether giving up on sex, basically. If you have chops, I'm sorry, I'm only teasing. All right. Tentacles, pessimism, check. Let's do some fill real quick. Again, we're not too concerned with details or getting things perfect. It's just kind of just getting ideas. The toe head isn't working for me. Ooh. What if he's got the shrimp eyes? Old shrimp eyes. Yes. That looks pessimistic to me. Faux show. Alright, let's transform him down. Such a powerful thirst. New layer. Let's go a little bit lighter this time. I feel like we've been doing a lot of ultra shiny stuff already. You're next. It's a good skill set. No idea what the hell's going on there. I apologize. We've just wasted 20 odd minutes. What the fuck is this thing? Why? Why do you exist? Your existence makes me cry. Alright, let's move him. Group. It looks cute and has derpy eyes. Absolutely. That looks like the soul of the pessimistic dead, right? Where's the pickleball court? What's next? Oh, I keep forgetting. These are meant to be legendary creatures. None of these are very legendary. Wow. Oh my god. We're not doing this one because it's so similar to the last, but these descriptions are so nutty. This entity is formed from the soul of a monk who died in a state of boredom. It looks like a hammerhead shark, again, sculpted into the form of a nautilus. It has semi-transparent pine green skin. A lot of those words are pretty much the same as the last one, so we'll leave that one. This entity is formed from the souls of deceased squires. It vaguely resembles an ape, but it seems to be composed of random oddments and parts. Huh. I think our generator may have shit the bed. There are squonks that are legendary. I don't know what a squonk is. You'll have to explain that one for the class, gang. The monster comes from another world. It looks like a scorpion bent into the form of a zebra. It has a long tail. It appears to be wearing a suit of armor. Interesting. There's potential on that one. This monster originated before all other life. It loosely resembles an octopus, and it has tentacles ending in a mouth. It kind of sounds like a... Oh, what are those critters? A beholder. Sounds like a beholder. A squonk is a creature so deformed and hideous that it spends its whole life crying and avoiding people. Jeez. feel a little attacked right now. I mean, wow. Yeah, totally. Hashtag attacked. My heart hurts, man. Come on, Vatra, ease up. Jesus. No, is that really a thing? What culture is that from? That's pretty cool. Is it a completely fictional, like a D&D critter? Ermagerd is hurting too. You have hurt a lot of people tonight, Vatra. You should sit in the corner and think about what you've done, because you've broken us all. A monster originated before all other life. Loosely resembles an octopus and has tentacles ending in a mouth. I mean, that's a beholder. So, you know what? I have never actually drawn a beholder. So let's do that. Let's break some ground tonight. I'm going to make my first ever beholder. Let's see where this takes us. I'm excited. I got to tell you, I have always found the beholder design a bit weird, but it's that weirdness that makes it iconic and cool, so I kind of get it. But I wonder if there's a way we could do it that would be different enough. Recognizable as the iconic beholder, but different. I mean, we know that from everything I've ever seen of them, they're pretty simply sort of a round thing with an eye, or maybe, well, it's usually one eye and then a big mouth with teeths, and then they have eye tentacles that come off, and then there's different ones, like some have mouth tentacles, and they all serve different purposes. They're sort of like created from the dark realm. Evil creatures of lore. Squonk is a creature from a myth of Pennsylvania. Oh, it's a cryptozoological critter from the States. Interesting. What if a beholder started out as a Burger King Whopper? That's Burger King, right? No. Or is it Carl's Jr.? I can't remember. God, I haven't had fast food in a while. I miss fast food. You know the fast food I miss the most? Taco Bell. Taco Bell is my happy place. Taco Bell is garbage. It's just awful, awful garbage, and I love it so much. I really miss it since I've been doing the keto thing. There's basically nothing at Taco Bell I can eat. A lot of the other places I can eat, but the only fast food I've had since I started was Five Guys. And even then it was just a burger patty, basically. I realized it was a total waste of time. Ooh. What if we went vertical with this? That's a bit interesting, eh? Let's shrink it down a little bit. What I love, I know I've mentioned this before, but what I love about doing sketches with really rough textured brushes is you are doing something with intent. You are designing, but at the same time, because it's rough and kind of very, very loose and hard to define those edges, it's a lot less like a drawing. It feels more like a cloud, you know. And like I said, I love to find critters in the clouds or in the stucco on the ceiling when you're a latchkey kid filled with big dreams. Chipotle, the Chipotles, that's your go-to. Chipotles is pretty damn good. You got to give it credit. if you search the squonk, it looks like a pig mixed with an elephant and a mole rat. I mean, that does sound kind of cute, to be honest. I don't know why everybody's picking on the squonk. So one of the things I've learned over my years as a character creature designer, especially from the stuff that I did back on God of War, was with Cyclopses, and honestly with a lot of big creatures in general, drawing in an iris makes it look silly. It just doesn't really work when you have a really large eye meat. And this all ties back, I think, to the whale theory, which I've explained a few times before during our sessions, which is scale is very much denoted by the detail of the eye, and big things tend to have smaller eyes and vice versa, or small things. So having a big iris in there can sometimes... Ooh, what if this is like actually like the eye is set in a big boil? Ugh. Again, yeah, I am absolutely going to get booted. Some pretty sapphic imagery in my channel. Apologies for those offended. But sometimes that's how design goes. And you see that as I'm continuing to draw on this thing, I'm getting smaller and smaller with the brush. And that is the inherent thing that happens with design. You're going to end up with when you're doing your really rough, loose, large, textured stuff, as you start working it out, you're going to automatically start drawing a little bit tighter. So you're going to want to do it with a smaller and smaller brush, of course. Dino, welcome. Give it a cat's eye. I was thinking about the cat's eye, but I don't know if that's otherworldly enough. I really like the octopus eye, like that little sort of like frowny face smile. Although it looks too happy on this thing, we might have to go the opposite direction. Something like that. And then I like goat's eyes. Are you familiar with goat's eyes? There's a lot of herbivores that do this, but the goats are really interesting. I find they're so when you have creatures that have eyes that are forward set, I'm sure you all know this stuff. When they're forward set, it's usually for ambush predators and attackers. And then when they're on the side of a critter and its eyes are on the side of its head, usually it's for scanning at horizontal. So you'll also see different pupil shapes because of that design. So to see movement on a horizon, having a line for a pupil makes more sense. It's going to draw in light, and it's going to see vertical movement easier. And then when you have singular point focus style and the vertical slits, you're going to see a different kind of movement, and you're going to be able to see, in Katz's case, it's about how much light is let in as well. But what I found interesting when I learned about goats is, so the goats, when they dip their heads down to eat, right, you would think that their eyes continue to have that horizontal look to the eye. That doesn't happen. If you watch videos of goats, when they dip their heads down, you'll notice that the iris and the whole eye actually rotates. And so when they dip their heads down like this, instead of the iris and the pupil rotating staying with the head in alignment, they actually will turn like this. So their eye inside the socket rotates real time as they dip their head down in order to keep that horizon line in alignment with their pupil. Isn't that fucked up? Look it up. It's crazy. See, we don't need creature designers. This shit is messed up on its own. So yeah, anyway, back to the point I was saying is I think a really weird iris would make this thing look very otherworldly. I did not intend to draw a beholder today, but here we are, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. So I'm glad you guys are here. This is very fun for me. I'm enjoying these stream sessions. I hope you are too. And if you're new and enjoying yourself, please do consider a follow. Click that little notification bell so you can join us quick next time. I do lots of critters, lots of creatures, characters. I work on stories, painting, and then I tell stories. I like to tell stories. It's one of my favorite things. I think getting the feeling of a maliciousness in the beholder is important, because the beholders are meant to be like really evil, like lawful evil or whatever, right? I'm having so much fun just kind of figuring out this eye shape. I haven't done anything with the tentacles yet. Go ahead. Instead of painting on top, we're going to do something different. I'm going to paint on underneath the lines, just so I can keep that texture I've been developing. Goats are also destroyers of the land. Leave one alone near grass and you'll have a wasteland. That's true, but they also eat everything. When I was a kid, we had a goat. It was a real bastard. Goats have been bastards my whole life. But yeah, when I was a kid, my grandparents had one. And that thing was real mean. It used to stand on top of the dogs. They had these outdoor dog houses, and the goat would stand on top of it. If you went anywhere near that thing, you were on your ass. It liked to stalk you in the high grass. Couldn't see it coming. Basically, what I'm saying is a goat is a velociraptor with fucked up eyes. I just showed you. They're evil. How very human of them, right? The most human creature. It eats trash. It destroys wherever it goes, and it's quite aggressive. Yeah, they're loud. The black goat from the witch movie. Oh my god. Black Phillip? Yes. Wouldst thou like to live deliciously? I love that goat. That's my favorite goat. I saw this amazing tattoo of Black Phillip as like a little cartoon chibi. I don't have any real representational like cartoony stuff, but I would probably wear a cartoony Black Phillip because it's so cute. Velociraptors are scared of goats. I want to see that movie. Jurassic Goat. The velociraptors are running in fear. Their eyes are wide. And goats are chasing after them. Yeah. Ship it. Take my money. I would watch the shit out of that. All right, like I said, we're going to be underpainting instead. And this is just to kind of get a little bit of light established, but also keep the weird bits of texture. Because why not? I like to change it up sometimes by challenging and doing what you do regularly, but doing it in different ways can force you to think about it differently, I find. I don't know if it's been the same for you, but... And then also sometimes I find like, I'll find some new way of doing something and I'll throw it into the pipeline and it's amazing. It's always good to challenge yourself that way. A goat with a similar appearance to a T-Rex goat. I love it. Tyrannosaurus goat. T-Goat X. Nice. I drew a little face. Did you guys see the face I accidentally drew? Look at him. Hey. Can I have a bag of crisps? Now you can't unsee it. It's stuck there in your mind. Like a splinter in your mind. I'm worried about... I want to be very careful not to make a normal beholder, so I got to really do everything I can to hold on to this shape. Because it is different enough, right? Let's transform them both together. Make a new layer on top, and this time I'm going to go darker. And I want... Let's see. Oof. Hands are a little crampy. Let's do... Nice filler, or a little liney guy. Finding faces in the clouds, it's true. That's what I do. This is the Beholder Lord. This is the Beholder's God. It was not intentional. That was totally random little thing. What happened to that brush? That is not the one I was after. Where did you go, little brush? I remember I saw you once. In the long ago. The before times. It was like a little flat kind of... Where you go, brush? You kind of look like that brush. You are not it, but I like you. We can be friends. This is one of those brushes that I just added. Oh yeah, that's right. I did all these ink. I found all these ink brushes. That's what these are, ink brushes over here. And that uses the same tip that I like. But what I liked about them is that they were so rough and opaque. It felt like Sumier. Nice. Okay, well that is the brush tip I'm looking for. So if you guys see it, let me know. Nope, that's not it. Ah! Yeah, I found it. Yes, that's the one. Okay. Excellent. Now we begin. I'm not looking to describe everything, but just kind of, because it's just, I still would like this to be a sketch. I do not want to do a finished painting. We've done nothing but finished paintings, I think, since I started. So I want to keep it loose for now. Maybe we can finish it later. I'm not ruling it out. But I just wanted to show you kind of how I do ideation. Peekaboo brush. And then I'm worried that these might be too much the same size. These masseters that I've kind of implied up here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to group up the masseter muscles and make them real big instead. Make them the dominant shape. Because this thing's bite is ferocious, right? It's like a pit bull. And then I will have I was going to make the cheekbones, the actual underlying structure of that bone itself, the prominent thing. But I think I'm going to ease up on that in favor of the masseters, which is different. Usually when you see something evil, they always have these big cheekbones, and we're not going to push on that. We're going to push the masseters instead. I think I'll push them even further. Let's grab this one here. Get it real high up. Hey guys! What are you guys doing? You just joined the Patreon. Hey, thanks, Dino. Appreciate that. Just the $1 tier. Hey, man, it all helps. It all totally helps. Yeah. And the tier will give you a discount for the Gumroad for all the previous episodes. So at your leisure, you can pick up a la carte lessons that you want. That's great. Yeah. Tip jar supporters are ultra valuable to me as well. You guys mean the world, your support. Also, make sure to join up on the Discord. There's a Patreon-specific channels on the Discord. I originally did giant fangs, but I think we did this last session where we went with small teeth, which are creepy. We established the utter and total fact that small teeth and lots of gums are creepy as hell. You can absolutely trust a person with a mustache that is offering you candy to get into their van, but if they have tiny teeth and giant gums, don't get in that van. Don't do it. No matter how good that candy is, even if they give you mounds, do not get in the van. Hey, that works for me too. The socials always help. Honestly, any support. I just like having you guys in here, like someone to talk to. So I'm not just sitting here, talking to myself in a funny voice. It's great. I love it. So when you're doing your masseters and your masseters are really big, you want to make sure that all of the jaw muscles that are on the interior reflect that. Because your masseters, like on a dog, they start up here, Let's see if I can get mine. You can actually see mine. I have fairly pronounced ones because I bite. You hear that? Don't mess with me. I bite. But yeah, see that? That little swell when I bite and when you chew, that's your masseter. So that goes from the top of the skull connecting right here and then goes inside the cheekbones, which kind of come out on the outside. They're like a little arch, right, of bone. And this muscle slides underneath it and then connects to the jaw muscles or the jawbone. So you've seen on your jawbone, you have where it connects, right? Is that little nodule, and then it comes forward. But there's also this kind of little flap, and then there's all your little teeths, right? So I'm sure you guys have seen this kind of structure. This right here is where your masseter attaches, and that goes up to the side of your skull. See how it almost feels like a skull just showing the muscle itself? Yeah, I mean, all of these pieces need to fit together to create that thing. But the more pronounced this muscle is on creatures, animals, you can see it on pit bulls, dogs, like a Staffordshire. That thing is basically just this muscle on the top of its head. And things like this, you do not want to find yourself inside its mouth because you're not getting it back, whatever's there. It is going to hurt real bad. So we're using that. We're basically making the Staffordshire Terrier of, or Staffordshire Bull Terrier, is that what it's called? Of the beholder world. Is that a death wish or a horny wish? I don't know. You tell me. You added 5 fingers on a creature with 4. What have you done? Avid just wants to be bitten. So dirty. All right, little tiny teeth again, which I think is a really funny thing to combine with a jaw muscle like that. It's got kind of like a brontosaurus quality. And he's got little chompers in there. He's got good teeth. He goes to his dentist regularly. He flosses. The reason I like flats to do this kind of sketching is so that I can quickly do fills of value like this and get really nice calligraphic strokes and little chunky bits in there. All masseter muscle, all that just connecting. Oh God. What if this thing kind of trails like a gross mass of hair? Like it's just gross beholder pubes. And it just drags through the ground. I don't know. It might be too beardy. But that's an interesting idea. It's something different, you know. I don't think I've ever seen a beholder with a beard before. Beardy pubes. Puby beard. Mature audiences only. Ah! What is the most scary creature? A beast with sharp teeth, sharp and enormous teeth, or an enormous squaredy one-eyed creature with small teeth? You know, I think I'm gonna lean on that one too. It's definitely the kind of thing I don't want to see coming at me out of a dark alley very quickly. It's almost like the toothy thing. The big scary teeth just makes more sense. It's almost expected. When something's coming at you with giant chompers, you're like, okay, this is how it ends. But if something like this comes at you, you say, oh, this is how it ends. It's more disappointing. This is how that previous creature was made. It died in a state of pessimism. That shit's great. Dare we do a full cleft lip all the way up? Nah. We'll do a partial one. Okay, so we've done some drawing. Let's draw out some more of these tentacles. I like the idea of some webbing in there. He gets a beard after the 10th century. Yeah, I think that's a fair level up. Pokemon evolved, it just grows a beard. It's exactly the same, but now it's got a Fu Manchu. Good use of that rare candy. If a beholder wants to look younger, it shaves. Imagine it putting on shaving cream. Poor thing. Do I have any funny D&D stories? In regards to actually doing the D&D or stories that come from the games themselves? So the short answer is yes. I need a little bit more of a prompt for a good story. Either. Let's see. So I may have mentioned one of the characters that I really enjoyed playing recently it was in a game that was sort of a fantasy version of the Old West, specifically not quite the Old West, but specifically the Gold Rush. And the character I played was a dragon oil salesman who was a skinny, horrible old man that basically brewed. He was like an alchemist. He'd brew potions, and he had this cart with an old mule, and the cart would like transform and open up, and it would show, all of his wares, most of which would be guaranteed to make you sick, or turn you into a chicken. And this guy, the way I set him up is I don't generally like to play characters that are really great at combat, because then it forces me to come up with different ways of doing things and kind of develop a character, if you will. So with this guy, because he's old and feeble, I would have him he would run around with this big trench coat on, or a duster, since that's accurate to the style of era we're pretending it would be. And he'd run around with this duster, and the duster would be full of all of these bottles clanking inside of it, all in little individual pockets. And he would just randomly grab in and throw these bottles at potential enemies and things like that. So it actually, I thought it was really funny, but it started becoming a real point of contention because it would cause all sorts of issues. Every time the DM really enjoyed, all DMs enjoy the suffering of their players, but the DM really enjoyed seeing awful random things happen as a result of the things that would come out of this jacket. So my character accidentally set fire to a kingdom. And this was the first or second session. We set fire to all of the grain in a kingdom, destroyed everything, and it basically set everything in motion. So we were being chased by these sort of elven fascists that all they wanted to do was collect a tax, and I ended up burning their entire crop. Oh yeah, no, it was a total shit show. And he was an utter pervert. It was great. I had a good time playing that character. And some other things I did with him. Oh, we had one of the characters discovered a handle, like a door handle, in these ancient caves where this is basically the conceit was this is the gold rush. But the gold that we were rushing for wasn't gold. It was these ancient artifacts that were buried in this mountain range far to the west. And so everybody was, they were loading up their wagons and going out on caravans to try and find their fame and fortune. And they would go out into the hills and try and find these loads of ancient, forgotten technologies and powerful magics and things like that. So it's a really good conceit. I really liked the world that he had built, and I was having a lot of fun with it. But one of the characters had found a doorknob, and this doorknob was essentially a closet of holding. She could put the doorknob onto any door, open it, and we would have this small sort of like 5 foot by 5 foot by 10 feet closet that you could put anything in. And so we started storing stuff. Anytime we went on an adventure and we needed to bring something somewhere else, we would throw it in there, and it would, we didn't have to carry it. So it was a really practical tool, but we would also use it in random ways. And there was one time we got into this big battle with a young girl who proved to be a powerful wizard that could make golems out of yarn. She would throw out balls of yarn, and then the yarn would transform into these creatures that you had to fight. And of course, my character would throw bottles at them, which would turn them into walking balls of acid. I'm gonna have to turn that off. And it caused total mayhem. But we captured this girl who was a golem making wizard, and we had no place to put her. So we threw her into this closet for safekeeping until we could take her to the authorities. And when we got to the authorities, we opened the door to reveal this girl whose fingers had been clawed off. She turned blue. She was like curled up in a corner like this, totally suffocated because there's no air inside the closet. So we killed a main character, a potential like ally main character, because we left her in there for like 8 hours with no air. Oh man. Yeah, like I said, the DM was a cruel man. A cruel, terrible, wonderful man. So if you have a bag of holding in future games, be careful who you put in it. Yes, a child wizard prodigy was thrown into a closet and suffocated. And then we were stuck with this body for a long time that was just sitting there in the closet. And we kept trying to find ways to pin the murder on somebody else. Because, I mean, basically, isn't that what all D&D turns into, is just the traveling nightmare of murder hobos? So, yeah, it was good. That was a good game. I'm sorry we shut it down. Oh, COVID. You have ruined many a good thing. All right. I'm liking the sketchiness of this, not having to refine it so much. I think we can get away probably with like a real light color pass and then a specular pass and really just call it done. I think that there's enough information here that this sketch is very complete. It may be overworked, in fact. But I'll just finish everything out and we'll see how we feel. Never played an RPG for too long because people are always busy or wanting advantage. Oh, yeah. Well, the key is really just to find a group that's trying to get the same experience out of it that you are. Like, people that want, a cool story or to perform and their character. Like, look for different people to have different solutions. You'll know right away if they're munchkins. I don't like playing with munchkins either. It's not very fun. Or rules lawyers. Okay, I think that's good enough. Let's get the masseter out. Belated. Oh, I forgot to draw on the pupil. Silly me. I'm a silly boy. If you think about it, pupils are really fucking weird. The little tiny sphincter that controls light. Ew. Let's do another brush. Can I do it on the same layer? Let's see if I can get away with it. Avid, your group moved online? Yeah, ours did too, but just a lot of people didn't feel like it had the same energy, so it just kind of happened. Glad you like the Beholder. This has been surprisingly fun. I never painted one before, but and it's because I don't really do fan art all that much. It's just not very interesting to me. But if I ever do it, I try and do something that's totally different. I want to see stuff that I haven't seen. That's kind of like That's my personal goal in things. Remember your last character were Frog Folk Kid with an 8-year-old and a sorcerer. Oh, your character was an 8-year-old sorcerer, prodigy. Couldn't make friends with children. Ah, killed a goblin with a kick to the groin. Oh my god, what a way to go. That sounds like it was a fun character to play. I do remember one character I played a long time ago. I think I was still in high school at the time, but the character was a mute, and it was actually a game of supers, which is an old GURPS. I think it was a GURPS offshoot, and it was essentially just a way to play superheroes. I made a character that was like, oh god, I don't even remember what his ability was. His ability was that he could talk with signs like Wile E. Coyote, so we'd lift a sign and it would say stuff. And he had telekinesis. That was the basis of the character. It was like a little Indian boy, like not Native American, but from India. And he he became quite powerful. And I remember one of the final scenes that we had played was a massive battle where it ended up being we were basically caught in the middle of a battle with modern day armies, and my character ended up using all of the corpses and putting them together into a giant tower that was all of these corpses in a big pylon, and then tipping it at the top and using it as a massive slinky that would just go around the battlefield rolling over itself, smashing everything. Like I said, I like creative solutions to death and murder. Your kid was on a paladin flying at enemies. Your character was throwing fire rays. Nice. It's always one of the fun things is trying to illustrate some of these things. I tried to illustrate that. We called it the Tower of Chunder. I tried to illustrate it. It was very difficult. I did not have the skills at the time. I drew, but not very well yet. I was still learning. I'm still learning now, but it was especially difficult then to draw thousands of bodies stacked on top of each other in a Tower of Chunder. I am going in here with just some accent values. I know we're not going for a painting. I just want this to be the focal point because it's the eye, you know. Let's do, you know what? I think I'm going to do the whole eye. I'm not going to do it all the same thickness and darkness, but I want to wrap the feature of it a little bit better in eyelids. And then we can do the same thing with the mouth. Just find little accent value places to kind of plant a happy little ambient occlusion focal point. Your DM would always laugh at your characters because they're disasters. Oh, do you roll badly? Some games I roll really bad. That one, the reason that my character, the old man in that Old West game, was always causing problems with the throws he would make for random alchemical monstrosities was because I rolled so bad all the time. It was kind of amazing. It defied reason how often I rolled badly with my checks. Sometimes that happens, you know. Although I generally like the failures because then that's where the funny stuff comes from, you know? Okay. Our lightest lights, they're pretty light. No, 50%. That's not that light. Let's go up to 75 or so. Make a new layer. And I'm going to throw in some speculars. And then I think we're going to call it done. Our beholder. The speculars are always the thing that make it work. I'm telling you. If you get the foundation feeling correct, you just throw in some speculars and boom. Just as a heads up, I'm thinking I may be doing some modifications to the schedule. I have my Thursday shows in the afternoon. Actually, it starts at noon. That's for the UK group that sometimes steps in to watch, and the UK patrons that when they need crits. I'm still not sure if I should do everything from 5 from here on out, but I may have to move the days around a little bit. So I'll keep you posted. Check back regular. I'll let you guys know what the plan is as my job status evolves. Still don't technically have the job yet, but we're getting closer and closer. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out. I'm taking my time with the speculars because they're an important detail. But because so much of this is really rough, I know it doesn't seem that way. It's because the buildup that happened was designed to have the whole of the thing have a rendered feel and the rendered textures with those texture brushes from the get-go. And by obeying the rules and making sure that I built up slowly those textures, throwing in these values on top are going to make it feel almost photoreal in terms of just black and white value. But it's because it's built on top of a structure that lends itself to that, if that makes sense. You rolled pretty well. That's good. It's a good idea. I think it's just more fun to play with flaws. There's a silliness in it. It's also kind of like writing, right? You don't want Deus Ex Machina. The god in the machine can come in at any time and mess things up for your characters, but they can't come in and fix things. The fixes always have to be by design, by the character's own hand, by the decisions they make. That's good storytelling. Those are characters you care about, ones that have agency and make their decisions. And they're also the ones that are the most fun to play, I think. Thanks, Pi. Yeah, I think I've got a pretty good chance of getting it. It's just about like working out the details at this point. It'll be potentially an art directorship. But one of the things that I'm wanting to work out with the team that I'll potentially be working with is I want to make Twitch part of the job. Like, I think it would be really awesome to just connect all those things together so that you can kind of see what game dev is really like. I think it would be great for their social media manager and things like that. So I'm in talks with them to try to, because I really haven't seen this done before. It may have been, I don't know, but sort of integrating Twitch into game development, I don't think I've seen that. I think it would be cool, and it would build a fan base for the game as the game is being built. You get input and all sorts of stuff. I feel like lots of design, lots of lots of creative media is going in that direction anyway, so why not just jump on it and see what happens, you know? This beholder looks sweaty. Well, yeah, I mean, it's not like it has a bunch of Dove soap. It's gonna get a little bit greasy, guys. Give him some credit here, okay? He doesn't have hands. How do I approach specular highlight to enhance texture and volume? Squint, stare at a point, bit of both, because that glossy texture on the skin and translucency in the eye is really impressive. What's your concept behind this specific beholder? First of all, welcome, Gwigwig. So the way I like to think about specular detail is I'll figure out where my focal point is, and I'll do the most speculars if it is a specular-rich creature, in which this case this is the case this time. I speak English good. I start with that focal point, or rather I manage that focal point, so that is the place where the most speculars, the most interesting detail, the most contrast, the most color, all of that is happening. And then everything else just kind of, I let it diminish as it goes further and further away from that focal point. Because the temptation, I may have done it already too much, but the temptation that often happens with your speculars is to just specular the shit out of everything. And less is more with speculars. It's really not about getting everything in there. You just want to get the things that matter. Like, I definitely want to make sure that the eyes are clearly shiny. If when you're zooming out, to kind of answer that squinting aspect, if when you're zooming out or when you squint at it, it feels like the speculars have completely changed the overall values of your image, then you've done too many, and it's going to look spotty in the final design. So you want to make sure that your speculars are accents. They're little tiny accents that help define a material. They should not change the values that much. You must maintain the value key that you established for the different parts. Dove soap I-beam. I think definitely this thing puts off a stink I-beam of some sort. And it's got some, I left sort of like a little pocketed hole for some kind of venom breath weapon or something like that. I don't know. I will leave it to the writers to decide on this one. I'm not wearing my writer hat today. I'm just, when you're doing good design, you want to put cool stuff in there that's going to inspire your writers to come up with an interesting solution. Vatra, are beholders resistant to poison or disease? You know, I don't know. I've never actually encountered a beholder in a game before. I have no idea what their stats are. There's a whole bunch of sort of mythic, legendary creatures that I have never encountered in RPGs. I can say that with most of my friends, the games that I have played have always been sort of the junior level stuff. You know, one of my favorite games was Shadowrun and Cyberpunk. I love Cyberpunk games. And we were always playing gutter punks, like no money, no resources, and that's how we would do fantasy too. It's just you have nothing, so there's no chance you're getting to the dungeons where these things exist. You know, the most fun was always in the like trying to figure out how to kill the rats in the warehouse, you know, and make that like 4 gold. I love the beginning of stuff in the fantasy stories. I think I've overdone it now. These are getting a little too veiny, if you will. So I'm going to knock them back. I'm definitely going for hints of stuff that's a little bit more mature audience, but I don't need it to be like in your face, so to say. Anyway, so there's a beholder. Let's do kind of a... Let's group it, make a new layer. I kind of want to do a cool... real quick. It's not quite rendering. kind of is. It's a little bit of a cheating. You know what? Let's grab those inky brushes we were playing with for a minute there. Let's see. Do I go light or do I go dark? What'll it be? I usually go dark with the sketches I've shown y'all, so maybe light is the way to go. I really like the textures that came out in this sketch. It feels nice and organic. It's got kind of a cool traditional feel to it for me. So I think I'm probably gonna post this one. I like how he came out. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching me paint. Thanks for the follow, Gwee. Welcome. Be sure to hit that notification bell so that you see when I come back on, or check the schedule down below. Appreciate it. Immune to prone, but no resistance. Oh, I see. Except for the anti-magic eye. That makes sense. Let's see. Or do I go dark? Let's try dark. Well, you know, it's got to be dark. This dark looks better. Sorry, guys. I feel like it's supposed to be in kind of like a little sewer dungeon. Yeah, this totally feels like Sharpie or something. A lot of my artist proof sketches for Magic kind of are in this vein. They're not nearly as detailed as this. They're usually really simple, like ballpoint sketches. But I like to use a nice big fat Sharpie to black out the background and give you a nice silhouette of the creature. I don't like how much I have to go over the same stroke in order to get the value I want. The opacity is a little bit too soft for me. I think it helps a little bit. Maybe turn it down just a touch. I don't know, what do y'all think? I think he's interesting. He's different. Yeah, I'll definitely post it up on Instagram and Twitter, so you guys can check them out there. I'm sure you've seen the links on the stream. So give me a follow over there, and you guys can download a copy. And of course, all my patrons from tip jar level and above get copies of these paintings at much higher res. Cool. Should I hint at the zoom zot? Look into my eye. Yeah, I was looking at well, not looking, but that's what I was referencing was octopus eyes, because I don't like the cartooniness of seeing the sclera and sort of the iris on a lot of these kinds of creatures. Not necessarily beholders. I'm thinking about specifically cyclopses, because I used to do, I mean, you would not believe how many cyclopses I've painted over the years working at Sony Santa Monica on God of War. I learned very quickly that you can get so cartoony so easily if you're not careful. So I go out of my way to try and make sure that monsters feel like I want to respect the monsterness of it. I don't need it to be relatable in that sense. It can be relatable in other senses. It's another design thing I hadn't expected to throw in. A triple lid. But here we are. Right at the end game. All right. Well, there you go. There's Izzy's Beholder, the squizziest of beholders. You can hear the triple lid's wet blink. The oculus of doom. Never look into its eyes. Awesome. Did I miss any questions? Let's take a look. Your room is dark and you're hella scared of him? Fuck yeah, that's what we're after. The octopus eye is not as scary as the goat? That's a fair assessment. Goats are creepy. They got that whole rotating thing I was telling you about. Smart choice. Yeah, awesome. Cool. Well, let's see here. How are we doing on time? All right, this is about perfect. Thank you all so much for joining me. It means the world to me. If you enjoyed yourselves, leave the follow, do the notifications, all that good stuff. And we will see you next time. See you guys. Thank you. Thank you so much. It was really, really fun. As always, paint smart, paint sexy. Hi there. I'm Izzy, a professional writer, concept artist, and illustrator. I've taught painting for a dozen years or so, on and offline. Many of your favorite illustrators and designers have studied with me or under me and have gone on to teach in their own right. You're here because, like they did, you want to learn to paint realistically for illustration or concept art. Well, worry not. You're in the right place. Grab a seat. I want you to join me as I explain all the aspects of image making in extremely digestible and clear monthly lessons. Not through the lens of silly how to paint hair or eye demos. That shit is carnival tricks. And you're not really learning anything except an exact way to render one thing in one manner. This is painting mysticism at its worst. Watching these kinds of exploitative lessons won't help you level up with your understanding. Sure, now you can paint sparkly hair, but what if you want to paint a dragon, or figure out how to render a sea of fire, or depict a one-eyed transgender space marine dying in the vacuum of space? Painting and image making are tools of communication, and can be learned by anyone willing to put in some time. Like grammar is for language, light, color, and form literally follow a formula. Painting well is not a matter of chicken bones, zombie crackers, and the ever-dismissive concept of talent. Learning with my series, Izzy's Logic of Light and Color, will give you the tools and understanding so you can analyze light and form in reality and bring it to life in your work. Using this simple system I have distilled will help you harness your art to share your ideas as you've always intended. When we are children, we all draw in symbols. Symbols for our house, our hands, the sun, the grass, our pet lobster. As we grow into artists, we must learn to throw away symbols and begin to draw and paint what it is we actually see. And as we grow further, we learn to paint beyond what we see and what is actually there. Until finally we move beyond this and learn to trim away what is actually there so we voice only what we want. With me, you're going to have to buckle in and maybe take some pain meds, because I'm going to rip out your normal person's eyes and replace them with a painter's eyes. I'm going to restructure how you see and how you understand what you're seeing. I'm going to turn you into a painting machine. Truly, anyone can learn to paint realistically if they can both determine what they're seeing or imagining with basic and straightforward rules. Once you understand the mechanics of light, color, and form in reality, you will have the capacity to paint anything you can see or imagine realistically. After that, the real fun begins. Here are some of the ways you can join me and master the logic of light and color. The very first lesson of my series is totally free on my YouTube channel. In that lesson, I give you the 3 primary rules of light that are the very foundation of painting and understanding light itself. If you do nothing else to make your painting mastery easier, at least watch this amazing little lesson. It will do more for your basic understanding of light than just about any tutorial you can find. When you're ready to get deeper and you feel like you have those first rules figured out, allow me to utterly blow your mind with the next episodes available on Gumroad and ArtStation. As we go deeper into the rules underlying the logic of light and color, I carefully and simply explain important and interesting elements. From beginner to pro, there is an amazing amount of information available. Each concept has been distilled into the clearest explanation you're likely to find anywhere. Like episode 2, where we cover the atmospheric effect and how that relates to light, scale, and distance of objects in reality, and how to render it. Or episode 3, where I hand over the ultimate key to controlling value in your paintings. Episodes 5 through 8 are all about rendering materials. Want to understand the logic behind rendering metal, leather, hair, transparency, damn near anything. I even cover the logic behind painting special effects like fire, neon, or lightsabers in later episodes. The lessons just get deeper and more detailed as I build on the foundations covered in preceding episodes. The 10th gives you the most important rule of composition you'll ever learn to keep your images interesting. The next few episodes cover important painting techniques like my edge control ninjutsu or simplification with the large to small system. We dip a toe in color theory, devote a few episodes to finishing full-blown illustrations utilizing the techniques we've learned so far. Some episodes, like the lighting game or Advanced Exercises 1, the shirt, present cheap, valuable, and practical exercises to give you explosive growth in your development. Episodes 22 through 25 cover painting and illustration, just like I do for Magic the Gathering, from assignment and inception to signing the painting at the end. Each one is full of tips, knowledge, everything to make working as an illustrator easier. Did you enjoy learning how to paint basic materials? Metal, wood, and such? I got 3 whole episodes devoted to the intricate logic behind painting different kinds of skin. After that, more lessons devoted to pumping life into your portraits and original methods for accurately drawing faces out of your head. From fundamentals to photo bashing, Gumroad and ArtStation have every lesson I create available for purchase a la carte. But here's an even better way to learn with me. Stay current with my latest lessons on Patreon for the lowest price available. Monthly support gets my student that month's lesson, a critique or paint over of their finished work, a discount code for 25% off the entire Gumroad archive, and access to the Logic of Light and Color Discord community, where we plan future lessons, share knowledge, and learn together as a team. The absolute best method is to join my Patreon classroom at the Student Plus tier, where you'll get everything I just mentioned and a free episode from the archive every month to accelerate your mastery at your own pace. You've decided to take control of your painting and master Izzy's Logic of Light and Color. Now it's up to you to choose the path that's best for you. I'll see you on the flip side. Paint smart, paint sexy.